Well, hello and welcome back, Phase 2 Flock. Today we're in Brisbane, Australia, and it's a good one. Nancy gets to live a lifelong dream.
Welcome to Living Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the fullest.
And we're living that full life aboard Royal Caribbean's 9-month Ultimate World Cruise on Serenade of the Seas.
We sure are. Well, friends, today we're in Brisbane, Australia. We've got a wonderful SEG tour to the Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary, and it was just incredible. But first, we'll tell you this is a docked port. It was a turnover day for the ship.
Right, so you can see from the previous night here, we always think it's one of the saddest things to see the suitcases out in the hall as some people are leaving us and others are coming on board as we're changing over to another, what we call mini segment. So this a 9-month adventure of ours is actually broken up into 17 mini cruises, and that's what the turnover is here. So yeah, we had new people coming on board to our homes.
Right. As a reminder, friends, there are 665 passengers who are doing the full world cruise, and the rest is made up of those doing either mini segments or full legs for their 4 legs of the cruise. And so there's about the same number of people, about 1,500 on right now. Right now there's a total of 32 children. I think 22 or 26 are doing the full world cruise, but very few children on board right now.
As Nancy said, we're docked in Brisbane, Australia here. Now, they've built a brand new cruise terminal here. All cruise ships now in Brisbane dock at this cruise terminal. So in the past, if you've come in here, some may have come down the river or docked closer into town. But now that they've finished their cruise terminal, they're having all of the different cruise ships dock out here. So pro tip, it is a good half hour at least into town. So if you have a tour that's going to be in the middle of town, you've got to get in there. It can take you quite a bit of time. In addition to that, because the cruise terminal is so far out here, a lot of Ubers and taxis actually don't come here. We had our full cruise ship out here, and people were waiting on taxis. We had to order an Uber to get to our tour starting point, and it took us a good 15-20 minutes to get an Uber. The people right behind us that ordered one, it took them 40-45 minutes to get an Uber to come out here. So just be prepared that out here at this cruise terminal, transportation can be a little bit of an issue. Now, quite often your cruise company will offer a shuttle into town. Royal Caribbean did that, but they drop you off kind of in the middle of town, and it wasn't really near where we needed to get to for our beginning of our tour, and so we went ahead and just grabbed an Uber, and that's how we got into town to get our tour. Now, let's tell them about the tour a little bit.
The tour was very good. So it started out, the Uber took us to the Queensland Library, which is where the river cruise began. So we boarded the river cruise, which was kind of a large pontoon boat, a double-decker, and it was a good 75-minute cruise, but it was beautiful. We got to see beautiful homes and scenery as we went down the river, and they gave us a nice narration of all of the area. So it was really nice.
Saw all the bridges that crossed. We saw the universities. It's very interesting. This river cruise has been operating for 90 years. So almost as long as the Koala Sanctuary, the river cruise has been taking people down the river to go to the sanctuary. It's a real partnership that they have. It's almost like a taxi that you can have. So that's probably a time to let you know. We mentioned that we did book a shore excursions group tour, and that combined the pontoon with entry into the Koala Sanctuary and then a return on the pontoon. This all happened from downtown. That's why we had to get from the cruise terminal down to the downtown to get on that pontoon. And as we mentioned, we only had about 10 minutes to spare with our Uber that came in there, and we were some of the first off the ship. So again, just be aware that if you're docking there and you have tours, really watch your time on that. But it was really nice having that tour put together for us. But in all full disclosure, you really could probably put this tour together yourself fairly easily. The pontoon tickets are, I think, $20 each way. You can buy your own tickets into the Lone Pine Koala Sanctuary. They're about $55. These are Australian dollars, by the way. And so you could build your own tour. And you could even take the pontoon one way and take an Uber back. Some of the
Sure.
people did it that way. This is a very, very easy town to get around. Like I said, there's plenty of Ubers, there's cab companies. So this isn't necessarily one that you have to get a tour. We really did it more out of convenience. So, well, after we took the pontoon, we docked right at the Koala Sanctuary. You have some stairs and a hill to get up to. And since our ticket was included, they gave us the tickets on the pontoon. We walked right in and began our adventure.
Right. Now, we had been told you need to go straight to the koala hut to sign up for that koala hold or to touch a koala, the koala experience. It's not, the koala hold is not something that you can book online. So that's the first place that we went to. While we were at the koala hut, we also bought some kangaroo feed, little bags of it. They were $2 a bag. So the first place we went to after that was the the kangaroo pen, and it's quite a large area, and there were many kangaroos. It was pretty easy just to walk right up to one and put a little feed in your hand and offer it to them, and they would take it. And what was kind of interesting about this, there's an area that is fenced off that or kind of blocked off. The kangaroos can get in and out of that area easily, but they can go there when they don't want to be petted or touched anymore. They have the freedom to go into just kind of a quiet, safe space. And we were standing there right at the rail, and Mike was shaking the little bag of feed, and one decided it wanted to come out and eat, and it just took it right from my hand, and it was just very, very sweet. And they're so soft.
Yeah, and really just a little bit of a pro tip here for petting kangaroos. Never thought that was a pro tip we'd give, but just be very slow. Let the kangaroo come to you. Offer it if they don't want to come. Don't try to approach. The little wallabies, the small kangaroos, were probably the most skittish. There were a couple big reds in there and other ones that were fairly large. But yeah, just hold it out. Let them come to you. Let them interact if they want to. And there's plenty there. If one doesn't want to interact, you can move on and move to the next one and see if they want to interact and have a little bit of food. But it was a lot of fun. I love the one that slowly hopped up to you as you were holding your hand out. And then we even had one that decided he'd pose for us. So stood on his back legs while we're feeding him and let us both come in right beside him. And it was really a fun experience. So yeah, well, after that, we went and just walked around the park a little bit. It's not a very large park, but the next place we went through, there's koalas everywhere.
Right, there's about 100 koalas. I mean, the sanctuary started with only 2 koalas, and now they're up to well over 100.
And I believe that was 1927, right?
Yes, it was.
And the founder, he just saw that this very unique and national animal for Australia was endangered, and so he started this to help rescue koalas, to have a sanctuary for them, and he's done a fantastic job with it. But yeah, as you're walking around, there is no lack of seeing koalas. They are absolutely everywhere. Well, after we walked through there, it was time for your experience.
It was.
So Nancy we were fortunate enough to get one of the koala hold experiences. Now, just a little pro tip here. As Nancy mentioned earlier, you used to be able to book those on the website. Now you can book a koala, what they call a koala touching experience, where the trainer holds it and you get to pet the koala and pose with it. But currently, you have to get in right away, do it very first thing. So another pro tip here.
To book the koala
Yeah,
hold.
so if you want to hold a koala, the park opens at 9 a.m. You need to be there right away. Go right to the koala hut and tell them you want to book the experience. So they have 2 windows. So they have I believe it's 10:30 to noon, if I remember right, and then 2 to 3 o'clock. They have 2 windows when they do allow koala holding, but you need to get that booked right away. We were fortunate enough to have a experience booked that we could then go in, and we went with friends, and it was amazing.
It really was. So you walk up, they tell you right where to stand. They tell you how to hold your hands to hold the koala, and it just snuggles right up to you. It's precious. And now they only let one person in the group hold the koala. But thank you for letting me hold it.
Yeah.
It
Well,
was
you
really
can book.
sweet.
You have to book an experience to hold the koala for each person that wants to hold it.
Right.
And so we had one experience, and so Nancy got that experience, and then I got to pose. I got to
pet it.
pet the koala, stand next to him, and then because we were with some friends, they came in then, and we got a nice group picture. They got to hold the koala as well, and with their ticket, it really was watching you hold that koala. You absolutely were glowing. I thought you were going to cry. You were so you were just so happy.
It truly was special. Honestly, I mean, before this, I thought holding the sloths in Roatan was so cool, but this one topped the sloths.
This topped the sloths.
The sloths are still good.
Yeah. So
it was neat. It was just really special.
Yeah, and just watching you and the joy that you had, it was just immeasurable. So it is a great experience if you have any desire to. Now, we will tell you, this isn't confirmed. I did a little bit of research,
through the rumor mill.
kind of a bit through the rumor mill, but this is in Queensland, this area. They are talking about, at least what we're hearing is banning holding of the koalas. New South Wales, a couple of Tasmania, other areas of Australia have already banned holding koalas, and Queensland still does allow it. So there are some zoos up there that allow it, and Western Australia and I think in the Perth area over there, they also still allow it. So there's a few places that do. So please check if you're going to go up to Lone Pine and your reason for going up to Lone Pine is to hold a koala. You might want to check and just make sure they're still doing that. Look on their website. It says hold a koala, and then it gives you the instructions of going to the koala hut, but you want to look at that for the dates that you're going, and you can even call them and just make sure that may be available at that time. So very special experience. We're not sure how much longer it's going to be around. Well, since we're talking about the koala holding experience Nancy had, we'll tell you a little bit about Lone Pine. They are a rescue operation. They are dedicated to preserving, saving, and rescuing koalas and maintaining the population. And the population in Australia is going through some real struggles right now in the wild. In addition to encroachment by human development, there's a disease called chlamydia going through the koala population, and that's causing some real issues. So Lone Pine is doing a wonderful part. Now, they are a certified ecotourism operator. They're an accredited zoo, and they do have full medical animal facilities there. So they really know what they're doing. And they, as we said, they've been doing this since 1927. There's probably no one more dedicated to taking care of koalas, understanding koalas than Lone Pine.
I agreed.
So,
yes.
Yeah. And they're in the Guinness Book of World Records as well.
As the largest koala sanctuary.
They are.
So
they are.
That's pretty.
Well, after you had your koala holding experience, we decided we'd just walk and explore the park. It's not a really big park. They do have a new area they've put together, and unfortunately they don't have a lot of the animals in there yet. We were looking around at different things. They have an enclosure for the Tasmanian devil, and well, they didn't have a Tasmanian devil. They did have a simulation of one. You can see that here. So I hope you enjoyed that simulation of a Tasmanian devil. We even saw a tree kangaroo.
Right. I mean, thankfully, someone was there to point it out. It was way up there, and honestly, I don't know if we'd have noticed it if someone wouldn't have pointed it out.
No, not 100 feet up in the sky. So, well, then after we walked through that area, and hopefully they get some animals in there and they continue to expand the park, we went in and we saw a crocodile feeding.
We did. Well, that was really neat to watch. That they had some roadkill in a bucket.
It was literally roadkill, yes.
that they fed to the crocodiles, and she's braver than I am.
Yes.
That's all I have to say. She'd tap her foot, and that crocodile would hear right where she's tapping and come over to her and was ready to eat.
Yeah, and as soon as she slammed the bucket on the ground, then that crocodile knew to jump out, and she'd back up and then get its food to it. But it was just by chance. We happened to be there right during a feeding, and that worked out really, really well. And I can't remember if we mentioned we did see wombats. We saw them as well. So yeah, we had a nice day, toured around. A picture was included with the koala hold experience, so they took one. But they were also great about using our camera to take pictures. So yeah, it was really good. And then we really headed back to the boat. We had to get our 70 to 90 minute boat ride back to downtown, and then all aboard was 4 o'clock, so we had to really rush because we had the boat ride. We had to catch a taxi or an Uber, get back to the ship and make it. Fortunately, we met up with somebody, shared a taxi ride back, and we got back in plenty of time. So
It worked out well.
well, after we got back to the cruise port, you did a little bit of shopping, and then we went to dinner. And after dinner,
We saw the headline show. It was a comedian, Steve Allison. He was very funny.
yeah, he did good. Nice local. They do a good job of bringing on local talent from the different areas as we go through the world. Yeah.
And the next day was a sea day.
Yeah,
a little bit rough, but boy, we're handling it very well now. After the Drake Passage,
Yeah.
we've got our sea legs.
Yeah,
so
you could
it
see
doesn't seem to be bothering
I
us.
grabbed the camera and just kind of pointed it out our balcony so you can see how we're rocking back and forth. But yeah, really doing pretty well.
Yeah.
But it was kind of interesting at lunch what we saw.
It was. We went to the Windjammer. It's our typical lunch place. But Royal Caribbean asked the world cruisers for recipes. If we had a favorite recipe that we would like, they have a little box out from time to time that we can drop our recipes in. And they made a guest recipe. They looked to see if that's something that they can make on board the ship, if they have the ingredients and everything that would work well to feed a lot of people. And they made a quiche, which was quite good.
Yeah. So it's nice to see them incorporating,
Yeah.
people talk about, well, you get bored with the food. They're always looking for ways to enhance the food experience and to bring new variety in. So I thought that was really good. Well, Nancy, from the standpoint of Brisbane, the Lone Pine, this area, we always like to ask, would you come back?
Well, as much as I loved holding that koala, I wouldn't probably necessarily come back to Lone Pine. I don't feel like we really got to see Brisbane, so I wouldn't mind coming back to see Brisbane, and hopefully we'll be on another cruise that stops here again.
Right. Well, we've absolutely loved Australia. We still have 2 more stops. We've said over and over, we will come back to Australia, and many cruises stop at Brisbane. So I think it would be nice to get to see the downtown, just to explore the city itself versus, just the one place we went, which was, the Koala Sanctuary. So I agree with you. Tomorrow, where are we heading?
Tomorrow we're going to Airlie Beach.
Yes,
So
we are. Yeah, we had some
another good day.
We had some big itinerary changes, and so we're going to have, even with those changes, you'll see we're going to have a really good experience, and you're going to get something you've been needing for a little bit of time.
That's right.
Well, thank you very
Okay.
much for tuning in, everybody. We appreciate it, and we hope that you'll hit that like button if you enjoyed this video and subscribe and turn on those notifications.
Have a beautiful day, friends. Take care.
Bye-bye now.
Bye-bye.